What kind of lesson, big guy?
Oh, I don't know, Danielle. I'm just so tense.
Oh, come to Papa.
Finally, a video on this show that I don't have to attach a trigger warning to. I mean, I don't really mean it in a bad way. I'm not trying to be harsh. You know what I mean? I like talking about the show. I just don't like to worry, and I like to be sure you guys don't worry, and I am an anxiety gremlin and all. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I'm here to talk to you about It Has Not Been 30 Seconds, so it's that one-stop motion show on Adult Swim that isn't Robot Chicken or Frankenhole. Or more specifically, Coach Stopframe. Coach Danielle Stopframe. And yes, his name is Danielle, as in the more feminine spelling. I know people think it's just a weird pronunciation of the name Daniel, and I wrote that too at first, like it's Clay's little nickname for him, but no, when we see a picture of him in the episode Numb, it's explicitly written as Danielle, like E-L-L-E. So yes, for all intents and purposes, his name is Danielle Stopframe, not Daniel Stopframe. And Joe, his nephew, explicitly refers to him as Uncle Danielle rather than Uncle Daniel, at several points.
Hi, Uncle Danielle. Oh, hey.
So there's that. Now, Moral Orel is a show that tackles the idea of fundamentalist Christianity, and one central unspoken tenet is you must conform to the rules put forward. Conformity is called totally, you conformists. You have to mask any negative feelings, push them deep down, and put a smile on your face if you ever hope to make it to heaven. So what if you spend your whole life being miserable? I mean, take a look at the Puppington parents. They are prime candidates for divorce. I mean, how bad would divorce look in a town where divorce is a sin, and even though, like, it's really self-inflicted when you think about it, because the paper mouths got divorced, and the worst thing anybody said was Florence was overweight, and that was about it. On top of that, one of the biggest sins in fundamentalist Christianity, which you must hide and repress, despite it honestly being perfectly natural, is having a queer identity. No, now I'm gonna burn in hell! I'm already heat sensitive. But I do love fire, so it seems like a fine trade-off for me, and Hell of a Boss did make it seem very appealing. However, Moral Orel, being a satire and all, is a very queer-positive show when you really think about it. Maybe it's not like Has-Been or Helva or Steven Universe, but in Miss Goldtum's unproduced episode, she would have found she was much happier being in a relationship with a female police officer, even if Moralton wouldn't allow them to make their relationship official on paper, and even raising a child with said police officer. Then there's also Stephanie Putty, an open lesbian who even Reverend Putty felt bad for when she was growing up, as her female friends would take advantage of the fact that she did not like men in order to get a rise out of others, like their boyfriends or authority figures. Then finally, there is Coach Stopframe, and also Clay. Clay is there too. One of the biggest relationships presented throughout the show is the illicit affair between Clay and Danielle, and all the problems it causes, both for them and for their families. The pair have a very toxic relationship, and yet it's still somehow miles better than Clay's relationship with his own wife. He would rather take this over her. However, in his pursuit of Clay, Danielle has caused plenty of problems, both for the townsfolk and for Clay's family, including his wife and children. Literally, Danielle is a homewrecker, plain and simple. And Danielle himself is also especially contentious considering the end of the series. Many people don't really know how to feel about him. Does he deserve our sympathy? Does his turnaround even make sense? Well, let's discuss. Now let me make it clear and just start this video by saying that no, it's not a bad thing that Danielle is a bad person and a homewrecker and yet gay. Two things can be true at the same time. Or I guess three, because homewrecker, you know what I mean. To me, the best kind of representation, beyond touching on a relatable issue or bringing up something that history has collectively agreed to forget about, is making the point that people from this one group can be bad or awful people, but not because they're from said group, just because they're bad people in general. After all, how much rep have you seen that is well-meaning, yet condescending because they remove the person's flaws in order to make them, like, perfect? Like, look, if I can do it, you can too. No, unfortunately you can't, but you know what I mean. Come on, if a straight person can be a bad person or a homewrecker, why can't a gay person or a queer person? We're people too! We deserve respect, we want to be evil, House of the Dragon take notes. Plus, he lives in Moralton, where pretty much all of the adults on some level are bad or evil or just plain damaged people. Even those who seem the happiest or the most well-adjusted. I mean, even Reverend Putty in the last season. It would be a disservice if Danielle wasn't at least a little bit bad or had baggage himself. Plus, I think representation is itself a spectrum, so to speak. You have to show both the good and the bad of that group in order to make the point, like, again, they're not bad because of that, they're just bad people, and they do that pretty well with Danielle and Stephanie. Danielle is Danielle, and you're watching this video, but Stephanie is probably the most well-adjusted person in the whole town. However, let me make it clear again, because I know you're probably typing up comments like, oh, Kitty's defending him. No, I'm not. Listen. Coach Stopframe is still a bad person who doesn't really change for the better. He does take the first step, I guess you can say, but moral Orel ending what it did meant that we couldn't actually see his transition into a better person if they even had one planned. And I just say if, because the thing is, I tried researching Danielle to see maybe if he had some kind of plotline that got cut, but I couldn't really find anything about him past that one episode. Like, it makes me wonder if they were gonna write him off after this. Like, really, there is no continuation. Like, if he continues being a father figure to Orel, if maybe he decides to finally adopt Shapy, if he finally decides to be a good uncle to Joe, if anything, if maybe he and Clay get back together once, if maybe he finds a man who actually loves him for him. And yeah, I found that very surprising. Does this mean he would have fully conformed, gone after somebody else? Would he had like more episodes dedicated to this idea, but then it got cut? Considering how they make it clear more than once, I might add, that Joe is his nephew, so would he have something to do with Nurse Bendy? I mean...
This is my nephew, Joe. He's kinda new to this whole church thing. I thought maybe you could be his Bible buddy.
I did bring up in my Nurse Bendy video that I like to think that she, Sheila, and Joe all moved in after. Well, maybe he decides, okay, I can actually take care of a kid now, so maybe he invites his sister, who, they never say it, but they kind of imply it, invites his sister to come live with him, and her son too, that way they all have a family. Maybe it's not a normal family, but it's still a family. I don't know, but this both hurts and helps Coach Stopframe. Stopframe's whole thing at the start of the series is that he's the gym teacher at Diorama Elementary. Orel is on his track team and one of his best runners.
And Orel is one of the best long-distance runners on my team. Who cares if your second kid was a mistake and won't let himself be weaned?
At first, Coach Stopframe is built up as being this stereotypically creepy gym teacher. One you probably had growing up that you don't look fondly back on. I had one of those. And you probably think he's gonna like take advantage of Orel or something. I mean, come on, they're making fun of Christians. Why not make fun of that one thing? But no, Orel isn't a Catholic. Those people live in Sinville with his grandpa.
Thanks, Sonny, but I'm already saved. You see...
I'm a Catholic.
Plus, unfortunately, we do have the Creepler, so I do think they are making that point, which, again, I do think it's good they're not doing it with Stopframe, because, again, they don't go for that one stereotype, which is very good. Coach Stopframe's whole thing is that he's a mostly well-adjusted guy, or as well-adjusted as you can get in a town like Morrilton, albeit he is still a jerk. Like, he's a teacher who hates kids, which is more common than you might think. And while he does have different preferences, so to speak, well, he does still have standards at times. I don't really think he would be the type to take advantage of Orel like that, with the exception of the episode Satan, but we'll get there when we get there. In one episode, when he found out that Orel had a piercing on his special area, courtesy of Stephanie, he called Clay to tell him since, yeah, a kid that young should not have a piercing there, or a piercing period, unless they have permission from a parent. And clearly, Orel did not have permission.
Clay, it's Danielle. Saw a little addition to your son's anatomy just now, and I'm hoping it's not genetic.
But yeah, I might be repeating myself, but his whole thing is he's in a secret liaison with Clay, for reasons they never really go into. Again, I don't know if they were going to reveal why if the series had continue, or they just couldn't think of any good reason, but Clay and Stopframe are together, albeit as pretty much an open secret to anybody with eyes, just because of how close they are and everything. But because of the morals of the town, they just don't care to notice or say anything.
I think I'm gonna call an audible this week, Orel, for our special guest.
Lips. Where do these figures live?
However, their relationship isn't healthy, which makes sense. Do you know what kind of a person Clay is? He can't hold down a straight relationship, imagine a gay one. On Clay's side of things, while he is in love with Danielle, he's more in love with him the same way a dragon's in love with their gold. And because of that, he has no problem getting angry at his own wife for cheating on him, despite the fact he's already cheating on her.
Oh, he doesn't even look anything like me. Who's been inside you? You are disgusting.
And he'll freely ignore his family and responsibilities to be with this man. Whereas with Danielle, honestly, he's really kind of horrible when you really get down to it, like unhealthy level stalker-ish. The first episode to imply Clay and Danielle was serious beyond a joke was the Christmas special, where Clay realizes, yep, Shapy is not his real son, as in his biological son. I mean, I do think he is, because he raised Shapy all his life, and Shapy probably 100% sees him as his real dad, but you know what I mean. Blabberta cheated on him, and that's bad. But he can go freely sleep around with the women that Orel and Doey bought back from Sinville. Like, I'm not even kidding, that was an episode. Orel took all of these, like, ladies of the night and brought them on a bus back to Morrilton, and all the adults, like, slept with them and got STDs.
Can't imagine what's causing these horrible diseases.
It's a real mystery. Say, I think I'll go and paint the lawn.
Oh, but clearly it's the women's fault they got sick and not the men for, like, not doing it safely. Women are evil totally. For comfort, after his divorce from Blabberta is announced, he goes to the bar to spend Christmas with Danielle, which is bad on many levels, and Danielle does not care. Like, it's bad enough that Clay is having problems, but it's Christmas, aka a holiday about togetherness, and he has a family. Like, it's unfair to them. Like, I know you're angry, but wait until after Christmas. That's why Boxing Day is a thing. Or at least do it to make your sons happy. And speaking of, well, the ending fully spells out that, yep, he and Danielle have a thing, which again makes him very hypocritical. They don't say for how long this has been going on, but it's still pretty hypocritical, don't you think?
Merry Christmas, Clay.
Merry Christmas.
Give him a $20 gift certificate.
The only difference between Blabberta and Clay, honestly, is that unfortunately, because Blabberta is a woman, she can have living, breathing proof that she cheated. Oh, but don't worry, it gets worse, because Shapy's baby daddy is Coach Stopframe. Two things. Well, more like three, it depends. First off, I do wish we got an episode, or at least a scene, of Shapy and Coach Stopframe, since the pair never really interact outside of a joke. Like, whenever he sees Shapy, he just, like, runs for the hills.
Whistling tunes and a no-prob attitude.
9!
It looks like everybody wants a piece of me lately.
And honestly, Clay never finds out who Blabberta cheated on him with, just that he got cheated on. Just how would he react to learning about this mystery man, about how his own true love slept with the wife that he hates so much? Or how would he react to knowing the truth? Would he be like, yay, because now a part of Danielle has always been in his house? Would he consider it a violation? Would that have been another humiliation notch in his belt? Plus, if the series did continue and they were going to end it with everybody eventually leaving Clay, this could have been a good way to spell out just how far Danielle has changed. He became a father figure to Orel, maybe he could eventually be a true one to Shapy in a sense. Heck, maybe even one to Joe. Again, I'm sorry I keep bringing this up, I hate they never do anything but this. Even Joe complained.
Why couldn't you be my dad and take me hunting instead of my stupid old dad?
Look, kid, I don't have nothing but time. Why don't you cry to your mommy about all this?
Joe is his nephew, and whenever he has to spend time with him, he hoists him onto Orel, like when he has to take him to church or when he tells him about his mom.
Show you my favorite Bartholomew quotes.
Yippee.
Dude, I feel like Joe needs a father figure more. Like, his own father is an old man who doesn't remember anything. But second, yep, it gets a lot worse. Watching the show for the first time, I thought Clay and Blabberta had a sort of polycule with Danielle without realizing it. Or at least the show would end with the trio getting together, or them finally realizing, like, oh, you slept with him too? And then they go on to share him, so to speak. Kinda like Turtleheart and Elphabet's parents from Wicked. Yes, in the books, Elphabet's parents are poly, go read it if you aren't a kid. But anyways, Blabberta and Danielle did not produce Shapy as a love child. I mean, Blabberta did, but to Danielle, it was just a way to get closer to Clay. Since then, if Clay got suspicious about a child who wasn't his, he'd leave Blabberta and go to him.
I just became a secret daddy to something that is gonna bring me really close to a very special person.
You clearly did not think ahead with this plan, did you, dude? Or did you know that as a fundamentalist Protestant, Clay lacks critical thinking skills? And we see it in the before Orel special, like just how he deceived Blabberta. He just sleeps with her, makes sure that he knocked her up, and as soon as the deed is done, he just goes home. And he snatches a picture of Clay from her bed as like a prize.
What worked?
You're a real curious one, aren't you?
Yes.
Aren't you?
I am.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am.
As weird as it is to say, part of me actually kind of feels bad for Liberta. She's normally somebody who is super closed off, especially in the later season. Like, there was literally a whole episode about how emotionally numb she is, and any niceness she gives is just her masking. Her being with Danielle is probably the first time in a long time she was happy, and it's sad to think he didn't like her back. Like, I kind of want to do a whole video on her and her love interest, but that's a discussion for another time. And when she finds out from Dr. Potter's wheel that she is pregnant, she's so excited.
You heard me.
But it can't be. This thing has 450 megablocks.
Dr. Potter's wheel says I'm a little over a month in.
Oh, Lustgard, why didn't I get you sooner?
Oh, it hurts. And keep in mind that Shapy is not an infant or a toddler. He's 7 years old, and it takes 9 months for a baby to be made. Meaning Stopframe stalked the Puppingtons for at least 8 years, if not longer, just to be closer to Clay and only to Clay. And you kind of have to wonder why this is like such a stalker level affection. Like, where did it come from? What drove him to Clay in the first place? Why did he like Clay? Was it the fact that he's the mayor and Danielle likes dudes in positions of power? Did he just like him for him? Is it because Clay is bisexual himself? Like, I have questions. Third, well, I will say this. I do think the show retconned the two a few times. Like, just how long they've been together. In the pilot, for instance, they act like they don't know each other, and Danielle is even annoyed at having to deal with Clay.
I'd give it one more shake.
All right. Thanks, buddy. By the way, my name's...
Later, Pally.
Whereas if this were like any other episode, he'd just be staring the whole time like, whoa, dude, damn. And in ways, they imply that either they've been together long enough that he can send Clay a giant love letter under the pretense of it being about Orel's poor track performance.
Mr. Stopframe has just sent me a 12-page letter.
What does it say?
Oh, many, many things. But here on page 7, he mentions you.
Oh.
Or that they met at the bar that night in the pilot and the love letter was how he got his attention. But by season 2, they act like they've always been a thing, and they're comfortable enough to show it in front of everyone, including Clay's own wife.
Danielle?
Clay, there he is.
Like, I can get the kids since he knows, like, it's gonna go over their heads, but, like, even other adults. So that makes me wonder if it was something like the crew just did not plan all of this out at first, or if they just kept changing their mind, hence the flip-floppy retcons, or considering how the pilot suffers from early installment weirdness, like Orel's parents being perfectly comfortable sharing a joke at Reverend Putty's expense, which is something they would probably never even think of doing later on.
Didn't he just do this sermon 8 years ago?
Tell me about it. I can do this one in my sleep.
No, my friends, Lazarus believed that life is precious.
Should we excuse the pilot? Shouldn't we excuse the pilot? I don't know. However, while Coach Stopframe is a horrible person, and I do not condone his actions at all, unlike Clay, to whatever small degree you can give him, he does eventually learn to be better. Just a little bit. I mean, I still do wish he got a bit more karma, but you know what I mean. But the lengths he goes to, like, win Clay's heart, besides Shapy, can be truly horrifying. And yep, it gets worse than that. Much, much worse. Clay might be in love with Danielle, but he's ultimately a selfish, hedonistic person. And same with Danielle, honestly. And therefore, he only goes to Danielle when he wants something from him or when he's bored. Meaning he hasn't been calling him a lot as of lately, especially in the episode Satan.
Lord in heaven, have him call me. Satan in hell, make him call me.
Also, I think it's a nice detail about how Danielle approaches Christianity. I wouldn't be surprised if he's either an agnostic or an atheist, and he's just stuck in Moralton, so he's gotta deal with it, or if he is a Christian, but he doesn't put too much stock into it unless he can get out of it. You know, like how I think that religion is a tool? Well, for him, it's a tool he can use for himself, one he can use to seduce Clay, because he could just pray for God to give him Clay, and then when that doesn't work, he can pray to Satan to get Clay. We do see him frequently going to church, but it's likely just for the sake of appearances, unlike the rest of Moralton, who do honestly believe, but still aren't above using it themselves. His efforts aren't working, so he decides to use Satanism, which obviously, that's not how it works, just as voodoo isn't how it's portrayed in the show, or most shows for that matter, because a few of you did bring that up. Alistair is apparently a whole discussion you can look into in your own time. But the point is, well, Stopframe doesn't care about all that. He only cares about what he can get. He even tells Orel that praying has never helped him, despite the fact that's like Orel's favorite hobby, and he even won the praying bee.
You're not worshipping Satan, are you, son?
No, sir. Never.
Because because I know for a fact that praying to God never helps this much.
Unfortunately, dude, by the standards of Christianity, that is not how praying works. It's not saying, I want this, give me that. It's making a request, and God is not obligated to accept it. He goes to meet with Clay at his usual spot, for Gettys, where Clay comes off as distracted and all.
Clay.
Oh, you know, pays the bills.
I bet it does.
Oh, it does.
Stinking dead-end job.
My, you're working late.
Stinking.
Dead-end job,
Exactly! The sermon the next Sunday is on the horrors of, get this, being gay! Oh my goodness. And how it's a sin because, as Reverend Putty puts it,
It's just plain unfair. Men with men? Are you kidding me? Gay men would have it made in the shade.
Rev, don't knock it before you try it, or get knocked by it if you catch my drift. Wait, that was insensitive. I shouldn't have said that. Wait, is it really though? But anyways, I like how, while Reverend Putty frames it as a sin because the Bible says it is, even if it isn't, there's such a thing as mistranslating. That's what led to Mary Magdalene being a prostitute when she really wasn't. Well, he's only really mad because gay men can be happy and in love with each other, and he can't even be happy with a woman. Oh no, how bad, how terrible.
Because they can't multiply. Seriously, as hard as they kiss and press their stupid bodies together, they're never going to squeeze a baby out of each other.
But it kind of makes me wonder if Putty is fine with lesbians, and chances are it's women or femme-presenting women, and not gay men because he can't land a woman. Which is weird. Like, wouldn't he hate that because, like, oh, I can't even get a woman, and you have more luck than me? Like, wouldn't it be the reverse in that case? Like, just saying he had no problems with Stephanie, and this was before she was his daughter. I mean, by his logic, I doubt Putty knows just how big the various umbrellas are. Is this some kind of commentary that real-life fundies do, like double standard-wise? Like one group is fine but not the other, beyond the whole picking and choosing thing? But anyways, Danielle gets the idea to use Satanism to win over Clay, and Miss Censored likely also sees the same sermon and gets the idea for voodoo. Satan? Sorry, I like church lady. And to do it, he needs a lock of Clay's hair.
What for?
Well, I want to buy him a new comb, and I need to see what gauge teeth to get on it.
Gotcha.
Aw, Danielle, how romantic! Surprised you don't put your fingers through Clay's hair enough to already know it, though.
Are you planning to buy me a new comb?
How'd you guess?
Well, it was either that or you're gonna put a satanic spell on me, and that's just not in your character.
Do you really need Satanism, dude? I think you and Clay are perfect for each other as is. But just a few things I want to go over, and then I'll get back to the episode.
Where do you keep the vacuum cleaner?
In Shapy's room for now. It's sharing a bed with him until I clean out the hall closet.
I like the detail that Shapy still has that vacuum, like Blabberta can't be bothered to get rid of it or deal with Shapy, since we do see it in the episode Numb.
This looks like a dog hair. Poor Bartholomew.
Oh, that's a nice if sad continuity. But be glad that Bartholomew is dead, Orel, otherwise Coach Stopframe would have used him for a satanic ritual. But honestly, nothing really comes of the hair thing, which is surprising. Which I don't know if they were saving it for later, like, cause I know this was supposed to be like the whole Miss Censored takes over the town with voodoo thing or whatever, but hey. Look at the ritual, he doesn't need Clay's hair, he just needs to bring in a virgin in order to sacrifice them. What is with me and the hocus pocus comparisons lately? And yes, I don't like the fact he's willing to resort to magic to win Clay's heart, especially since you know my thoughts on the matter. By doing that, you're taking away someone's right to consent, and if Danielle truly loved Clay, not as an obsession, but as a person he wants to be with, he would treat him right. So he ends up getting the idea to bring Orel to the ritual as a sacrifice instead.
Free.
Drug free.
And that drug is Christianity.
Clean as a whistle.
Excellent. Come with all the ingredients for the...
Yeah, I do have problems with this episode, I'll get to them in a bit. It's a funny episode, just I don't think it fits in with what eventually happens in the finale. Cause in the finale, Coach Stopframe finally gives up Clay when he realizes he shot Orel and lied about it. I feel like this should have been the start of Stopframe realizing his love for Clay was going too far and he needed to do something about it. Like maybe he's just about to sacrifice Orel by killing him, but he can't go through with killing an innocent child, or even Clay's child for that matter. Character development is all about baby steps. Or maybe Satanism is too much even for him, but that's not exactly what happens. I mean, it is, but okay, Christ on a stick, just play the clip.
It's exciting. I've never been to an adult party before.
Now, Orel, ritual. You're sure you're still a virgin, right?
Oh, Scout's honor, Coach.
Yeah, Stopframe, he's God, chef, and nothing more. But when Danielle gets inside, he discovers, yep, it really isn't for him. Since it's not a bunch of people in robes killing goats, it's an Eyes Wide Shut party where all the people are old, gross, overweight, and they indulge more in food than in the blood of the lamb. Ooh, I fit right in. Like, I kinda like the fact they're all, like, body positive and age positive.
I cannot get naked with these people.
Yeah, not with that kid around anyway, whatnot.
But really, I also kind of like the fact they make the point that the Satanists aren't evil, like how you think they would in most shows. They're just normal people who have a weird hobby, I guess you could say. Which is weird to us, but to them it brings them a sense of community, since real Satanism is nothing like how the media portrays it. Again, it's kind of like voodoo. According to TV tropes, because I was too lazy to do a full search, there are two kinds of Satanism, and the one Hollywood generally stereotypes is theistic Satanism, where Satan is worshipped as a deity. But more than likely, you'll encounter the Levian Satanism, which, as the article states, doesn't consider Satan a physical entity, and instead refers to him as a symbol for freedom to follow your own desires and or for fighting against tyranny, i.e. God. The other one, which is called theistic Satanism, worships or reveres Satan as a deity. Both of them, generally speaking, view Christian morality as self-destructive for both individuals and society. It's a religion whose followers, generally speaking, are no more or less likely to be evil than the followers of any other religion, though their sense of what constitutes right and wrong is likely to veer far from the mainstream. In reality, it's more akin to the pagan religions of old, their primary belief being that Satan and the demons are a corruption of the old Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Greco-Roman gods. And no, human sacrifice is not a widely accepted practice in most branches, though symbolic sacrifices might be, but that isn't so different from the Christian communion, which is itself a symbolic sacrifice of the body and blood of Jesus. Well, I'll really do anything besides talk about the main subject at hand, don't I? Even when they find out he brought Orel, presumably to kill him, they're taken aback, because they wanted an adult to do adult things with. Like, that's the whole point of the ritual. And no, you don't do them with a child, because a child cannot give consent.
Who's the kid?
He's the virgin.
What? That's totally against the law.
But it's for the ritual.
Don't you know any legal virgins?
But even at the gathering, even if they make the point they really don't want Orel there, they're perfectly nice to him and polite. Like, they offer him food and everything, and that food looks mighty tasty. Except the sour cream. I hate sour cream, except on potato chips.
Have some pizza, Coach. It's sour cream and peanut butter.
I love how even Orel himself doesn't care because they are nice people and his parents aren't there to tell him otherwise. Plus, they aren't Catholics, so he has nothing to fear. And they make the point that he can join in the food, but not much else. He even has to be blindfolded to be sure he can't see anything and nothing happens. I don't know. I love how they subverted the whole Satanist being evil thing. But I do wish, yeah, this was how Stopframe started having doubts about the situation at hand, since his platonic love for Orel will eventually redeem him in the end. And here, he doesn't really do anything. So this could have been foreshadowed or something. Instead, he's just grossed out and that's why he leaves. Not like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't take Orel here.
Listen, I don't know where you get your information, but Christians do eat candy bars.
No, not this gooey, they don't.
Well, I mean, gluttony is a sin. Plus, I did Google just out of curiosity, and yes, Christians are allowed to have candy bars, gooey or not, but considering how this town had giant protests to ban the sale of eggs, I can totally headcanon Censored all try to do the same to candy bars, like, candy bars lead to harm, or sugary sweets are the devil's beasts, or something stupid like that. But yeah, once again, Danielle could not partake in this ritual since he's too disgusted and he takes Orel home. Surprised he isn't suspicious if Orel's gonna tell his parents that their side piece took him to a satanic outpost, just saying. But Danielle decides to just woo Clay the old-fashioned way.
Where you been, Danielle?
Oh, you know, being a monk.
You review adult cartoons as well, I see? Or did you wear all black ankle dresses because you were goth and always got bullied about what you wore?
A monk, eh? You know what they do under those robes.
Wear tights or biker shorts because I walk everywhere and I don't want chub rub? But yes, Danielle is one of those characters where I'm very confused about how to feel about him and the direction the show took him. Which is partially why this video took so long to get released. Like, I didn't finish it until like 8 p.m. the night before. Where I do like what happened to him in the episode honor, but I do wish he did more. But I do wish he was more compelling. But I do love his voice. Like, I love how soothing it feels. It's like syrup for my pancake brain.
Yes, my name is Coach Danielle Stopframe, and I'm interested in attending your satanic love acquisition ritual.
Like, it sucks what kind of a person Jay Johnston is because he has such talent. I love the characters he played, even in Bob's Burgers. And hey, one complaint about season 3 is, honestly, I don't like the new voice they gave him, which is just Scott as Sid, who also voices Clay.
Ooh, I thought I was done with this whole emotion business.
Although this is a product of the season getting shortened since apparently Jay wasn't around to do any of the voices after a certain point, hence why he and Miss Censored all sound different outside of, I think, the episode Dumb where Joe was featured. But speaking of Miss Censored all, I think one of the biggest reasons why Danielle eventually abandoned Clay was because of Miss Censored all, because he realized he'd never have Clay, and on top of that, Clay left him for a woman. Plus it doesn't help that Stopframe likely romanticized Clay so much that the fact he was bisexual, because Clay is bisexual, he has slept with both men and women, never even crossed his mind. Like, I could see him telling himself, like, oh, he's just with Alberta for appearance sake. He clearly doesn't like women, ignoring all those other times. See, in the episode Nesting, Clay runs against Miss Censored all for mayor, and when Miss Censored all realizes, either through quick deduction or magic, take your pick, that Clay has a mommy kink, she takes advantage of that to seduce him. Since she's the same age as him, but due to having her reproductive organs removed, she can't produce children and she looks like she's twice her age. So they end up having an affair.
That, my dear Mayor, is the only egg you'll ever find down there.
Ew, gross. The thing is, Clay forgot that Danielle was right there alongside him, and he didn't care.
Your mom's little hatchling.
So while befriending Orel might have ultimately been what got him to leave Clay permanently, maybe Clay's second affair might have been the true point where he realizes, yep, I bet on the wrong pony. Because ultimately, Clay is a selfish man who only cares about himself, which is partially why I wish Danielle was in the episode Sacrifice, as it's finally when the adult men of the town, or at least the men Orel idolizes, realize Clay is just a worthless nutcase who isn't worthy of any respect. I think it would have been a good way for the cracks to start to show, like, Danielle, back me up! Danielle, where are you going? Danielle, get back here! And even if Clay does try to frame his whole affair with Miss Censored all as, oh yeah, it's just business, well, it clearly didn't look like business. However, we do see even earlier in that same season just how obsessed he is with Clay, as that's when we get the confirmation that he basically impregnated Blaberta just to get closer to her husband. And in some ways, I'd argue him being with Clay and then Clay cheating on him is karma, because honestly, that's a me thing. If you are willing to date a person cheating-wise and you know it's cheating, well, how do you know they're not going to cheat on you? They're perfectly fine cheating with their own partner. In the episode Numb, when Blaberta wants something to occupy her time, now that Clay and Orel are gone, she goes to Stopframe to ask to restart their affair, but he informs her he never actually loved her. He just wanted a way to get closer to her husband.
Sorry. Oh, wait. No, I'm not. I don't care. Wow. What a freeing thought.
Dang, dude! And once again, I kind of feel bad even if ultimately in some way I guess she does deserve it. We even see in that episode she had a whole scrapbook dedicated to their whole affair. And then once he left her high and dry, well, maybe it's why she neglects Shapy and treats him like an infant. Since he was supposed to be her secret love child and now there is no love, so he's just another mouth to feed. After all, it's totally a child's fault if they're born. Look at me.
Remember a few months ago when you and your family were over for dinner? I think we may have accidentally switched babies, and I'd like to switch back, for sentimental reasons.
On the series finale finally has Coach Stopframe leave Clay, and like I said, I think it's a good ending. It just suffers from being rushed and not properly set up, or at times being way too subtle. For reference, Orel has spent every episode since Nature realizing Clay is a bad person. It doesn't help that Nature had Clay shoot him in the leg and then lied and told everybody that Orel did it to himself. In honor, his cast is taken off and he's reminded this change will be permanent. Even if he's only on crutches for a few days, he will be limping for life. And what's worse is, his father won't be picking him up this time, meaning he's gotta walk home with crutches.
Just a few days?
Yes, and then you'll be limping for the rest of your life.
Oh.
Is your dad coming to pick you up?
No, he's busy.
Dude. Now, one of the 10 commandments is honor thy father and honor thy mother, and Orel hasn't had a big revelation about his mother yet, so it's time for him and his father. He can't think of any reason to like Clay, let alone honor him or love him. He needs advice, so he goes to Reverend Putty, who tells him, yeah, I'm not the guy to talk to about this. You need to go talk to Coach Stopframe, since he's probably the only person left in town who actually does like Clay.
At way much. Coach Stopframe.
Oh.
Orel asks him what's honorable about Clay, and Stopframe decides to go with him to Figurelli's, where Orel finally confesses, yep, Clay shot him and lied about it, and then he made me lie to everybody else.
Or the bear shot me.
Or that you got between the bear and him.
Oh, a new one, I guess.
He's got a million of them, kid.
And for the first time, Danielle has to be confronted with the knowledge that Clay isn't just a bad person, he's a bad father. And ultimately, he's wrecking a horrible home. Because for all of Danielle's flaws, he actually does like Orel. And he has to see that by romanticizing Clay, he kept hurting his son. Orel keeps asking questions, so to put them off, likely because he can't think of any good answers, he keeps suggesting fun things for the two to do together, which are all holiday themed, like ice skating. And they end up actually bonding.
How many?
Come on,
whoa.
You can do it.
Whoa, 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 wow, you're right!
Hey, I never thought I was good with kids.
Well, you are a grade school gym teacher.
Yes, this is why you should be bonding with your nephew, dude. I mean, it's good he's with his mom ice skating, but you should be there too. And all the while, they're stalked by Clay, who decides to find where Danielle and Clay are via Christmas caroling, which makes me wonder if the two actually ever did consummate their affair, or even if Clay was at his house. Like, imagine dating somebody for years and never going to their house. Like, that's a little weird, don't you think?
Christmas caroling!
What do you mean? Now? As a family? Cheerfully?
Yes!
This I've got to see. La 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 la.
And the sad part is, Clay is finally suggesting a fun holiday activity that the entire family could easily bond over. Like, they'd all enjoy it. Shapy and Block get to be together, Blaberta loves singing, and even if nobody likes her opera singing, well, it's Christmas, so that makes for good caroling. And Clay likes attention, while Orel just likes Christmas because it's all about the birth of Jesus, and he'd like his family because they're all together. Like, it's really sad he's only doing this because he's mad at Danielle. Finally, Orel and Danielle make it to his house. Oh, I guess Orel got there before Clay. And they decorate his tree, and Orel realizes, oh, Coach Stopframe likes Danielle as a romantic partner.
You like my dad the way my mom likes my dad, don't you?
Your mom likes your dad?
Oh, it's no use.
Dude, you just shattered him twice! It's like you shot him in the leg again! And after all that, thankfully, Danielle salvages things by finally answering Orel's question. You don't have to like your father, but at the end of the day, you still need to admit that in some way, shape, or form, they made you. They made you the person you are today.
Orel, somehow, in his own blundering way, your father made you. And that's honorable.
And by this, I think it also helps to mean that you can take what your father did wrong and realize that when you become a father, you can do better, because you got a whole crash course on what not to do. Since we see a flash forward immediately after, where Orel and Christina finally get together, they're finally happy, and they finally have children. And Orel is a very great father. Likely because he also had other father figures. But finally, Clay and the family go to his front door, and they find Orel with him. And jealous and angry that Orel is having a good time without him, and Danielle is with somebody who isn't him, even if platonically, Clay does this.
This is rape! You raped my son!
What?
Clay, don't bring up that one unproduced episode, and dude, not cool, screw you. And no, I don't think Clay is doing this thinking really, oh, they're dating, like he's not that dumb. I think he's just being a hypocrite like usual, and being the fact he's a Christian to insult the fact Danielle is gay, and he can't be open about it, unlike Clay. You deserve what happens to you next, man. Clay tries telling Danielle he loves him one last time as a desperate plea, but to save face, he says it through Orel, even though pretty much everybody at this point knows about it.
Well, it worked! You got to me! Now you stay away from him! He's not yours, I am! I mean, he's mine! My son!
You're just humiliating yourself and proving to Orel how bad of a person you are. And BTW, he isn't even drunk here, so Orel can finally see you for who you are. You can't even use the bottle as an excuse.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Orel?
Come on, Dad. Good sleep.
Sad that the only time Clay ever tells his son, I love you, is when it's to somebody else. It's not even addressed to him. Danielle finally tells Clay to leave, implicitly saying they're done for, and Orel goes home dejected, but at least happy he got to have one good Christmas after a really horrible year.
It's too late.
Yeah. Right.
I had fun.
So, Coach Stopframe. I am confused about how to feel about him, although I think part of that was the crew just didn't have a good idea of where to take him. And it didn't help with how the network treated them. I like the idea of him, I just feel, yeah, some of it was a little too quick or a little too subtle. But as is, I guess his voice is okay. Except in season 3, like really, no offense, at times it felt like Clay just doing a really bad impression of his boyfriend. Anyhow, bye!